Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Come Sit and Chat with Dr. Clay. Today's conversation, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be focused on love and quarantine. I know that that little title might have been a bit deceiving, but it's not. It really is looking at how your relationship or what your relationship is like with your spouses and your partners. Okay, great. I'm glad that we're all able to hear me well, see me well. Please do not hesitate to put any questions that you may have into the chat area, and I will definitely respond to each of them. Periodically, I will also be posting some sites and links for you in the website as the conversation goes on. Okay? So, today, like most of you, we are all currently practicing social distancing and basically like a shelter in place in our own homes. So, I know, like many of you, you're feeling a bit restless in this confinement. And even though I am motivated to do this because I'm not only protecting myself and my family, but I'm also protecting others, even though it makes us all feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? Now, we all know that human beings are relationship oriented. So that means that we are accustomed hanging out together, liming, as the Caribbean people would say in Trinidad. We're accustomed to basically being social animals and connecting together. And so, like many of you, we're all kind of challenged with that right now, that we're feeling a little bit disconnected from individuals that we're accustomed working with or socializing with, be it our friends and loved ones, right? So, how are we all coping with this? Well, this change causes some unusual circumstances because we're in crisis. We're in a situation of concern and we're all being quarantined. So there are different solutions that we might face, and we might find ourselves totally stressed because your parents could be in Trinidad and you happen to be in America or someplace in the world. Your loved ones might be living in another house, brothers, sisters, things like that. Friends may be apart from you, and you're not accustomed to dealing with that, especially now if you're in a house full of very bored and scared children. But I want you to know that you are able to learn how to stay committed during this time and to work together. So I need you to focus in not just only on the relationship that you have with your children, but also the relationship that you have, the intimate relationship that you have with your partners. Now, many of us might think, well, what are you talking about, Dr. Clay? Well, what I'm talking about is that many of us have to learn to interact with our intimate partners differently during this time. I would say to you the focus should be on being companions with one another and both of you willing to meet each other's essential needs. Now, the reason I mention essential needs, and many of you might not know this, but there is such a thing called the hierarchy of needs, and this was by Maslow. The model really was originally a five-stage or five-step model, and it has evolved since the 1970s into like 8 different steps. But for just for today, the basic hello Vashti, the basic focus is going to be on the hierarchy, the 5 stages, okay, of needs. And basically, Maslow, who's a psychologist, stated that if these physical needs or if these needs are not achieved, a person kind of gets stuck at a certain level. So, as I said, I'm only going to focus on 5 different levels that are going to be utilized to show how your relationship with your spouse or your partner can benefit from making sure that each of you are attaining these levels. So, first we have the physiological level, then we have safety, then we have love and belongingness. Then we have esteem, and then we have self actualization. I will go into that a little bit more quickly for you. The first one of your physiological needs. This focuses on your need for food, drink, place to live, shelter, clothes on your body, being warm, sex, sleeping. That's your physiological needs. And basically, if those needs are not met, then your body is not going to function optimally. And so before you can move on to the next level, which would be considered safety, this is where people are looking for emotional safety, financial safety. Do we have a job? Are there laws? Are people following laws? Are people free? Those are things that would fall under safety. Then we have love and belongingness needs level. That's the third level in the hierarchy of needs. So this is where we're looking for friendship, intimacy. We want trust and acceptance. Then we have the esteem level, which is the fourth level. And in this level, this is when the person has a need for respect. They worry about their reputation. They are concerned about how others see them, their self-esteem, things like that. This we find, of course, more so in children and adolescents than we do in adults, but in some adults who might be stuck at different levels of these hierarchy of needs, that might still be an area that they need. And then the final area would be, or the final level would be self-actualization. This is where your personal desire to accomplish something or to be all that you can be. That is what is focused in on that. Now, if any of you would like to learn more about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I totally would strongly encourage you to go and read about it so that you could know, what, am I stuck somewhere? Am I not achieving certain things? Am I not reaching a certain level within my development emotionally? What should I be doing? Okay, so this will help you a little bit better. And, just for some light reading. So moving on to how this focuses on with our love and quarantine. In a relationship, especially during the times of crisis and difficulty, our basic needs of food, safety, love, and connection with others becomes extremely important. So, as a result, you need to start focusing on like the way you interact with each other, your relationship goals that you may have. And I need you to serve as a support for each other during this time. So in an essence, you are trying to meet each other's needs for the person's health, as my husband was always making sure that, am I feeling well? Is there anything that I need? Making sure that we are safe and making sure that you have an emotional connection with the individual that you care about. Hello, Sherry Ann. So during this time, you guys have a little bit of extra time on your hands to start working on creating a deeper, more satisfying connection with your relationships with your partners or your spouses, right? So say, for example, when you go out on your errands, don't some of you would like, to pick up something nice that your partner would love. So when you're running those essential errands and you're taking some time, out there by yourself because your partner's stuck inside like I am, and my husband goes outside and takes care of all of the essentials for our family, but he always will bring back something that makes he has thought of me, that makes me understand and know that he is thinking of me and my essential need and the things that matter to me also matter to him. So that helps us in keeping that connection. Hello, Stephanie. So also, I want us to work on maintaining a connection with our person and having conversation during these stressful times. Now, we know emotions can run pretty high, and so it's very important for you to be positive and to have a very positive emotional connection with your partner. So communication is extremely important. Please focus in on authentic, genuine conversations. Tell stories or ask questions or share things. Essential errands to get away. Yes, that's probably what he is doing. Thank you, CT Cover. Yes, everybody needs their time away, so he goes away and has a drive. Hello, Stephanie. And he also gets time to himself, but he also takes care of us at the same time. So I want you guys to start trying to make connections with this person. When you're having conversations, please smile, make genuine, warm eye contact, not those mean faces. Colors are popping. Oh, thank you. And you're having conversations with each other, keep them going. Don't let them be one-sided. Start telling stories about your childhood. Ask stories about his or her childhood. And, just in their history, different things that you guys maybe have never spoken about. During this time, reward each other. Please do not punish your partner. This is not a time to be doing that while you guys are in quarantine together, dealing with all the different fears of COVID-19. You want to try to have a healthy relationship ratio. And I know many people's going to be like, what? Yes, a healthy relationship ratio, which means 5 fabulous positive things you would say and do for your partner before you do one negative thing. Now, I know we do not live in utopia. We know that people have disagreements and they have arguments. But try to avoid being critical to the person. Hi, Edwards. Try to avoid just being mean and ornery and whiny, and always defensive, thinking it's always you or the person's always picking on you. Reward the person with a smile, a gentle touch, a hug. Compliment things that they have done for you or even things that they've done for themselves. Compliment those things. Hello, Mr. Mackey. How are you doing? Hello, Michael. So I want you to start relying on giving rewards that would help your relationship thrive. Loving attention for each other, affectionate words, affectionate touch. Just motivates the person to not only want to continue doing it, but especially during this time of crisis, making a concerted effort that you're all doing it together and for each other. Highlight those special moments that you guys do together. After the children have gone to sleep, yes, have a midnight picnic in front of a make-believe fireplace. Go into the backyard and have a glass of wine together, or just have dinner together. Do different things for each other. Please be grateful and appreciate when the person does things that addresses your essential needs, like cooking for you. And I must say, I cooked yesterday. I am so happy. And I'm sure my spouse is so happy. And so was my daughter. And if I do say so myself, I did a pretty decent job. I cooked stewed chicken, macaroni pie, and I also made chicken soup. So I think I did a pretty decent job. If I do pat my own self on my back. But if I didn't, my spouse did and my daughter did. They said, thank you, Mom. You made a great effort. Thank you, Mom, for doing what you've done, because they appreciate it. Not only does it motivate them, but makes life enjoyable for both of you. Exactly, Edwards. You are absolutely correct. It is already difficult dealing in this stressful time while we are all in quarantine. Do special things for each other and acknowledge and show your gratitude when individuals are doing so. Hello, Carlin. I know, I see you too. So, also, we want to start building trust and commitment in our relationship. So, when partners trust one another and they do so where they have shared commitment and shared goals, the relationship lasts longer. Okay, so we want to develop that trust. So we have to behave in ways that is focused on the relationship, not just individually only on us. Okay, it needs to be focused on the relationship, the togetherness for both of you, all of you, everyone in the house. So create situations that are equal and fair, or more situations that are equal and fair, so that you are digging deeper into your relationship and making more of a commitment. Now, I know that many people, women and men, would both say, especially if your relationship has been challenged in the past, that, well, we are in quarantine now, so he or she can't do anything that they used to do before that was a challenge to our relationship, or a challenge to us creating more of a committing atmosphere together. So even though that's not the case, this could be a time for you guys to dig deeper and find out possibly why certain things may have happened in the past in your relationship. Find ways during this quarantine to improve your relationship, especially when it comes to communication and talking to each other. find ways for you to connect, even if you guys are apart from each other, because there are some people in relationships who do not live in the same home. And maybe one person's living with parents and the other is the same. And in those instances, social media might be extremely important. Maybe making it official that you are together with that person on social media might be a way of showing them that you are connected to them and that you are part of them. So as soon as I was married, it was immediately put onto Facebook that I am married to Ian Scott. And so that was clearly stated. Not that he needed that confirmation, or I did not need that confirmation, neither one of us did. But for the rest of the world, sometimes it's important. And maybe we both did need that confirmation, and it was important to us as well. So during this time, we can also start engaging in forgiveness. We all know that we have histories with our loved ones that may not have always been positive. And so, in those cases, during this time of quarantine, have those much needed conversations where you need to find out, why were those mistakes made? What were the contributions on both parts, not just one? Because remember, it takes two hands to clap. Okay? So, in these instances, if there was an issue in your relationship, it isn't one person's fault. And I need you guys to recognize that. If your partner cheats or steps out of the relationship for any reason, there is a problem from both perspectives. You both contributed to that. During this time would be a great time for you to start having those much needed discussions so that you could see if you could figure out, how are we going to solve this together as a couple. Be positive. Please be optimistic and be open to forgiveness so that you can heal those parts of your relationship. So now this segues into a section. I see nobody has thrown anything in yet, but we're getting ready to go into a part of this discussion that could be a little sensitive for some people. And that's the part of the discussion that focuses on domestic violence. Through quarantine, while we're in quarantine, there are many victims who are stuck in places with their abusers. So domestic violence focuses on physical or psychological abuse, and it can affect anybody of any age, gender, race, or sexual orientation. So don't worry, it could be any of us out there that could be in this situation where we are meant, somebody is trying to scare us, or someone is trying to physically harm us or control us in some way. So the domestic violence victims who are now forced to stay at home with their abusers, both men and women. And I know when someone hears domestic violence, they think it's only women. I have many clients who are also men who are being abused by their spouses, who happens to be women. So please recognize that this is not something that just falls one-sided. Okay? So I know that for many victims out there, the immediate concern is minimizing your exposure to any aggression that's happening and any injury, because many abusers and victims are quarantined together. I need you guys to remember that. Okay, so there are a few things that I thought of and that some of my psychology colleagues shared with me as well that I thought I would mention. If you are a victim, please plan for the possibility that your abuser may threaten your physical health during this quarantine period. They might withhold your medication, they might withhold food from you, they might withhold hand sanitizer from you, or disinfecting products from you. So if you have any friends or family that you know that you can trust, as a victim, I would say to you, please leave some supplies. Hello, Rick. Leave some supplies or health essentials with someone you trust, a next door neighbor or a friend, to ensure that you still have access to some of those things that you need. Okay? I know some people are like, oh, that sounds silly. But no, it's not. Because when someone is trying to hurt you, they will do so any which way they can. The next thing that was shared is that you need to start creating a weapon-free zone. Anything, anything can be considered a weapon or can be created into a weapon. Remove anything that you see around you that can be used as a weapon when the person is angry. Okay, so this could include sharp knives or other heavy objects, excuse me, heavy objects on the table, or the nightstand, or anything like that, or anything with sharp edges that could be within reach. When someone is angry, they're not going looking for stuff. It's whatever they can get their hands on. So an abuser usually reaches for whatever is closest to them to hurt the individual. They're not going to go into a cabinet, climb up on a ladder, and go up there looking for something. So usually it's things within their reach. So things like coffee mugs and, those small appliances that you have on the countertop, secure those things, put them away, think ahead, create environments where they're limited to what they're able to use to hurt you. Okay, so if you know that you are a potential victim, and many people may not be in a violent household right now, but if you see that because of being in quarantine due to COVID-19, that your home is starting to become toxic, and there are instances of flags that are popping up that you're seeing that this person is going to hurt you or can hurt you, then start preparing. Be proactive in doing so if you're not able to leave. Okay, so clear off the countertops. Make sure there's nothing where that person can get. Put the things away, hide them. Like I said, the individual is not going to go looking for anything. Hopefully your home doesn't have anything like guns. If there are, make sure it's in a locked cabinet. Again, the individual, when they're angry, isn't going to take that time to open up the locked cabinet with the gun to come and hurt you at that moment of extreme anger. They're not going to do that. They're always going to be reaching for what is easiest for them to hurt you with immediately. So try to make sure all those things are clear. Okay. Next, I would say utilize your space. Hello, Aaron. Hi, Mr. Straub. I miss you too. Utilize your space. If you have a balcony and you want to, you can step outside to give the person space to cool down. If you have a car, make sure it's not parked in a basement or anything like that. Make sure it's parked outside somewhere where it's access for you to get to easily. Go into the car, lock yourself in the car, but please make sure that you have a safety bag that you have filled with your telephone or iPads or something that that you're able to contact people from the outside. Please, if you are a victim, make sure all of your devices are always charged, even when you are in the house. Okay? A next technique that would also work is distraction. And I know people are like, why aren't you telling these people to leave? Some individuals are not yet ready to leave, and I need you to realize that. So my first thing is, please be safe. So during this time, remember, it's not easy for us to just walk out the door, because we're afraid of getting hurt or being infected or hurting somebody else. So fear is something can be very crippling. And so in saying that, we might find ways of distracting the person. So if you see that the individual, if you see that you're in a relationship that is violent and that the individual is starting to get angry, find ways to diffuse their anger. If it's turning on a TV show that they like and you're like, come, let's watch this show together. Creating a special meal, doing different things that would distract the person and draw their attention away from whatever was the anger trigger that might cause them to start to hurt you or family members. If you're in a home with a lot of people in the home, all of you, safety in numbers, so to speak. So all of you together might work together doing positive things as best as possible to help distract this person or de-escalate the situation. if you're able to call a friend with a safety word or phrase. So when you say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious over the phone, the person already knows that's the code word to know they need you to come over to help distract. Now, they can't come inside, but they could stand outside the mesh door. They could stand on the doorstep 6 feet away and just be another distraction. We know that most abusers act perfect around strangers. They do not act the way that they would act when privately they are with you. So these are other ways that you're able to distract them and hopefully, protect yourself and keep them away from you. So we are always trying to change the behavior of the abuser. Okay, so finally, I'm going to put into the list, and I should have done this earlier, but I need you guys to know that there are different hotlines and organizations out there, and I'm putting that into the chat right now. There. So all of you can have access. There's the National Domestic Violence Hotline website. And there is also, that's nationally, and there's over 200 languages when you call that you have access to. Hello, DJ Jump, how are you? And so you're able to call those individuals and get assistance and help, be it a shelter. I gave you number for TTAP in Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists. I gave you a list also of hotline numbers for individuals on the hotline in Trinidad where you're able to gain access of an individual who can connect you with help, for you to talk about if you're in a toxic relationship, or for you to have to discuss that being in quarantine during COVID-19, that your relationship is being stressed. That your relationship is being stressed, and that you need assistance in how to deal with it, that you need assistance in communicating with your spouse or your partner, or you need assistance in helping to be more positive with yourself. These hotlines are there for you. So I need you to recognize that you have support and you're not alone, even if you are in an unhealthy relationship or a healthy relationship. There is support for you throughout, that there can be positive relationships and love during quarantine. But we also recognize that there are unhealthy relationships that are happening during quarantine. And I'm hoping that by giving you some of these resources that you're able to find assistance and help. Please tap into them. So in closing, I want to say a few things, and I've written down this list. I said, I want to say to people, refrain from being on media too often because it creates panic and it creates extra stress and anxiety. So try not to read too much news. Try not to be focused in on different types of news. Try not to listen to friends and family who are talking about different conspiracy theories. Try to put a deaf ear to some of those things and take a break from them at time, so it will help reduce your anxiety and need to panic. Talk to people that you trust and help them. They can help you process through your fears. If you don't feel secure enough speaking to just family and friends because you don't want nobody in your business, then call someone on the hotline. It is confidential. We are all trained professionals, and we can talk you through it, or at least put you in connection with the area in your country that can help you more directly. Okay? Try and find a routine of some kind, even if you are stuck at home. If you're not able to leave to go out and get essentials, try and find a routine. I have taken out the cookbook and I've asked my family, pick dishes that we can cook together, pick dishes that they would love me to try or they want to try, because guess what? It's addressing one of our basic needs in the hierarchy of needs. And this is something we can do together. Follow up with hand washing as much as you can, and make sure that you're paying attention to all the social distancing protocols that you're supposed to do. Seek out some of the social networks through video chat and FaceTime and Skype and Google Hangouts, and, well, not Zoom, because Zoom is under some serious, the FBI is looking at them closely because some people have been popping in on Zoom conversations and basically sharing out your information that they are hearing on your Zoom videos. So please make sure that you are in a secure platform when you're having conversations. Please talk to your mental health practitioners about any of your fears and concerns. Like I said, I have placed in the chat some links and some sites with the hotlines nationally as well as those within my country of birth, Trinidad and Tobago. Please utilize those resources. Ensure that you adhere to anything that your mental health person is stating for you to do. If you have pre-existing mental health conditions, follow the psychiatric care that has been prescribed for you. Medications or anything like that that you're currently taking, please continue to take them. Make sure you have a sufficient supply. As you can hear my dog in the background, but that's okay. She's part of the family as well. That's Cuddles. Also exercising at home. We have all begun doing yoga and stretching, going outside in uncrowded places. Those of you who are able to go outside and exercise, if you're not, exercise at home. Use bags of beans to be your weights. Do sit-ups. Do it with each other. Jumping jacks. Run up and down the stairs if those are things. Have a dance-a-thon. Do all of those different things that you need to do that will help you build closer with your family and with your friends. So as I bring this to a close, I want you guys to remember, continue to wash your hands. Know that social distancing and self-isolation is a necessity that we need to do at this moment in time. We need to practice these things together for each other's health and safety. I want to thank you again for joining us for Come Sit and Chat with Dr. Clay. I appreciate you, and I look forward to speaking with you guys again on Friday, again at 3 p.m. For Eastern Time or 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So Pacific Time. I know it's not standard, it's daylight savings or whatever it is. But I want you guys to know that we're here. Call us, text us, use the support that you have, and know that you are so not alone. People are not trying to be in your business. They're just trying to be here for you. Again, thank you, and see you again next on Come Sit and Chat with Dr. Clay. Good day, everybody.